Alright, now that you have your CAD design all done, we're going to go ahead and talk about creating some toolpaths to actually cam the money block part. So let's get after it. We're going to start by always going to the setup. That's under the job tab and it's setup. So the very first thing is we got to set our stock. So once you click that, you're going to see some box points. You're going to have to determine what is going to be the best zero for your program when you actually set that up in the machine. So what we're going to do is, what I like to do is I like to go ahead and, in this case, I think we're going to pick this upper left-hand corner. The issue here, as I click on that, is the z-axis is not traveling in the correct direction. Now yours might be different than mine, but it's basically the same protocol regardless of what you're doing. So I click model orientation, go down to the z-axis, z-axis and x-axis. You could use any of those really. It defaults to the z-axis already. So what you have to do is, in your model, you have to pick an edge that actually shows the direction you want the z-axis to travel in. So in this case, I want the spindle or the tool to be up and down in this direction. So I'm just going to left click on that. When I do that, the z-axis then orientates in the correct direction. Now, since the work zero for my actual part will need to be on the top surface, the z-axis is going the wrong direction. So we simply come over here and we click Z, flip the z-axis. Now that's going the correct way. Now, if my vice jaws are going to be here and here, that tells me that this X and Y axis is not going the correct direction either. So I come down here to X axis and go ahead and select that. And again, same thing I did with the Z, I'm going to pick an edge that travels in the correct direction. So this should be the way the X axis travels. So I'll go ahead and click that, and now I have my X axis. If, again, it's going the wrong direction, simply click flip the X axis. And now my zero would be up in this top left-hand corner when I put that in the vice jaws on the CNC machine, and that's exactly how I want it to travel. You might have to occasionally come down here to stock point if this thing like moves around on you sometimes. Just click that, and that brings up these different points. So we're all good there. That's where we want to be. We'll click one more tab over to the stock. And since we are already going to have our part all machined to 2 by 3 by 3, all the correct size, we can go ahead and just click this and hit no additional stock. And what that does is basically makes this block the exact size that you would have when you go to machine it. So once you have that done, you can just hit OK. And the setup is all created. So I have setup 2, yours might be setup 1. Now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and toolpath this. So we're going to have a couple different toolpaths. We'll start by cutting out these areas right here. So we'll do that with a 2D contour. We'll come over here to Tool to select that. That should bring up some Tormach tools in here. So these are my Tormach tools. You already loaded those in. We'll use tool number 1. Select that. Now if we need to change any feed rates here, this is the place to do it, depending on what your material is that you're cutting. Let's go ahead and change the normal cutting feed rate to 10, and we'll change the lead in and the lead outs and the ramps all to 10. We'll change the plunge to 4. So 10, 10, 10, 10, and 4. And then go ahead and click the next tab over, which is geometry. This is where you select what it is that you want to cut out. So in this case, this is, this surface is what I want to cut out. There's other places I suppose you could click. This is probably the easiest for a 2D contour. I'll come over to here. Those are the 4 work surfaces that I want to select. And I'll come over here to heights. And I usually like just to go right down to the bottom tab here and change that to selection. And that's going to actually allow me to select the bottom of my feature. And for this particular part, we're just going to go ahead and plunge right in and cut the whole thing. Otherwise, we can go one tab over and we can tell it how many passes we want to go. So multiple finishing passes. You can click multiple depths if there's certain depths that you want it to go, or rough out certain things. But for us, we'll just hit OK. And that should go ahead and create this 2D contour toolpath, and you should show your toolpaths here. Next up, excuse me, is going to be a little bit of the chamfers that go around here. So we'll go 2D contour again. In this case, we'll hit Tool, and we'll bring the Tormach tools back up, and we'll use Tool 20. Select. We'll just leave those feed rates as is. That'll be fine for this tool. One tab over. What is it that we want to chamfer? We kind of want to just chamfer this whole top of this whole part. So I'm just going to find a spot that allows me to get everything, which is here. Click it, and that's just going to go around and chamfer the whole works. Next, we need to tell it our depth. So we'll go back down to selection. In this case, I'm zooming in a little bit so I can select the bottom of that little chamfer, so that way it goes basically 40 thousandths of an inch deep. And then hit OK. And now that toolpath should be created. All right, perfect. And last but not least, we'll do a little engraving to put the money sign deals in there. So we'll go to 2D milling. We've got to expand that out and come all the way down to engrave. Looks like Tool 20 is already selected, so that works. Otherwise, we can go to Tool and we go to Tormach again and say, hey, use Tool 20. Next, what is it we want to engrave? I'm just going to go ahead and select this whole face right there. I'll also do this and this. That way it goes around all of them. This is exactly the same thing, so I'll do that again. All right. How deep do we want to go? Go down to that bottom tab again, go to selection, zoom in. You want to go to the bottom of that right there. It's like we're good there. Hit OK. And now you have your engraving toolpath. Now, last but not least, these are all your toolpaths have been created, so let's simulate this and see what it looks like. So we'll click on Setup right here to highlight all of these toolpaths basically, and then we'll come over here to the Simulate tab and turn the stock on. Shows basically a solid part. Hit play. If we want to, we can speed that up by clicking this little slider down here. Shows that thing comes down, cuts those. Switches tools, comes around, chamfers the whole top, and engraves the money sign. Looks great. Statistics tab will tell you how long the part will take. 6 minutes 45 seconds. Sounds good. I assume yours should match pretty close to mine if you put in all the correct feed rates that mine had. So that looks good. So we'll hit close, and the only thing left to do is post the code. So we'll hit setup. We'll hit post process. All this stuff should probably put its own stuff in there for you basically. You can put a program name or a number if you need to, and if you want to go ahead and call this the BB money block, but you could call it whatever you wanted there. You will need to click on this post configuration. This is the machine that you want it to post to. So this basically will tell it, hey, this is the one we want to, this is the type of machine that we're using or whatever. So if you scroll down a little ways, you'll find a Tormach Path Pilot post. It'll say Tormach on it. Mine says generic Mach 3 mil, but I think yours should say Path Pilot. But the key here is the Tormach, because that's the machine that we're using. Once you have it, click post. It's going to ask you to save your file and just kind of make sure that's a place where you know where it's at. I just said, yeah, go ahead and save over top of it. And look at this. This is all of the G code that it just created for you. So you don't have to type all that in, which is sweet. You can also go over here to backplot window. And this will actually show your little tool, and as you just arrow down on the keyboard, it will show all the cutting for the G&M codes. All right, looks awesome. So if you have this, you can go ahead and save this into the Tormach folder. So you can click this little guy here and go save as. And if you want to navigate to the public drive and the ready to cut folder, and kind of scroll down a little bit, you'll find the Tormach folder. Find your class, whatever class it is. Open that up, and you know, just make sure your initials are somewhere in that. And then you're ready to go. You might have to put it on a jump drive to get it out to the machine, but either way, that's the protocol and all the steps to take your parts from your design in CAD all the way through CAM for this first part. So good luck.